Hey guys, welcome back to another week of my video blog. As promised, it is Thursday, and every Thursday we're going to have a video blog in which I answer your questions, and I also give you important updates and whatnot of all kinds of really cool stuff that's been going on. First and foremost, Avalanche was released a week ago yesterday, actually, if today's Thursday, which today is Thursday. Um, yeah, and inside of a week, we have hit 5,000 hits. Thank you, all of you who have helped make that possible, who have been continuing to share it with your friends and to like it and to post it and to tweet it and do all those really, really fun things that are just really, really helpful. Keep up the great work. I want to give a shout out to one or two people in particular who have been doing some fantastic promotional work for me on the Ben Draiman street team and whatnot. We have Jill, I guess, I don't know how to pronounce her last name, Jill, I think it's Hober, I want to say, out in Australia, who's been doing some fantastic stuff, bringing in a whole bunch of really new, great people connected to the music, and we've already become friends. And special shout out to my man Adam. And I told you I'm not going to be able to pronounce your name properly. Sikowski or something or other like that. Um, yeah, also doing some fantastic work helping promote. You guys can get involved too. It's really, really helpful. I do all this stuff on my own, and whatever help you guys can give me, it would be great. A lot of you have been kind enough to post and tag me and doing all that. That's great, but unfortunately these days with Facebook, posts really only go so far. Facebook limits your feed considerably. So a lot of people really aren't seeing it, which is why you might only see like one or two likes or one or two comments if you've got like a couple hundred or even a couple thousand friends. Even with me, I have about 3,500 or so friends, and I sometimes don't have yeah, I don't get a lot of hits, and I can actually see how many people see it and don't see it. So yeah, so the best way and the most effective way of helping spread the word is message your friends. Send them a private message. Send them a link to the video. Send them a link to my Reverb Nation page. Send them a link to my website. Ask them to check out the music. My operation is a grassroots operation. That means friends bring friends. You're more likely to listen to what your friend has to offer than anyone else. And it's been proven time and time again. We've had a lot of people come in this week because they were brought in by their friends, and we would like to see those numbers grow. And it's also part of us kind of like forming this little community that we continue to develop, and it's continuing to grow, and I'm really, really happy about it, and I thank you guys for it. Okay, moving on. Questions for this week. We have Logan Moore. Don't know exactly where Logan's from, but he writes as follows. How do you feel about the state of the music industry today? Do you think it will get better for artists like yourself, or will it continue to be full of plastics with mediocre talent? Thanks, and keep rockin' 'em. Okay, so Logan, first and foremost, I guess your question is predicated on the fact that that there's a lot of mediocre talent out there. I think music is a very, very subjective thing. There are a whole bunch of people actually on blogs recently, a handful, not a lot, who posted some pretty negative stuff about my music. And you know what? I'm fine with that. A guy actually wrote about me in his blog who really, really didn't like what he heard. And I wrote him, and I'm like, dude, I'm very happy that you featured me in the blog. And he was a bit harsh. He really, really was. But you know what? I'd rather be talked about than not talked about at all. I'd rather be relevant. And for every couple of haters out there, there's a whole bunch of people who really like you. You can be rest assured of that. As long as everybody's not saying it sucks. If everybody's saying that it sucks, then you probably have a problem. So the state of the music industry today. Somebody was talking to me about that recently. About downloads and whatnot. And I really agree with. There's a show that I watch. I'll give actually a little bit of shout out to the Draiman. There's a show called Draiman Live that you guys should check out. It's hosted by the manager for Incubus, Steve Rennie. And part of what he says I tend to agree with a lot. That the industry today has made it more possible than ever for every single independent artist to just get his music out there. That's fantastic. David Grohl gave a keynote speech at South by Southwest that was also extremely inspiring, and some of the points that he talked about was very much just that. We're not as dependent on the machine as we used to, on the record labels to come and give us our special deals. We can do a lot more on our own, sitting from our home. I mean, it just blows my mind that 5,000 people all over the world, and I have the statistics up on YouTube, from Australia to America to all across Europe to Russia, all watch the video and they comment and there's instant feedback, and it's just an amazing situation. Uh, Given that the market has also become saturated, people are getting bombarded left and right by so much music and so much stuff going on. I myself, I'm a lover of music. I really love discovering new bands or something really exciting about that. And it's sometimes really hard to kind of weed out everything that's out there. And I'm not one to say that some is better than some is worse or whatever. Music is really a very subjective thing. And for me, as long as someone really puts their heart into it and is really honest and authentic about it, I think that what they'll come up with will probably be pretty good, as long as they have some basic music skills and whatnot. So I think the industry is actually pretty good. And someone actually asked me once about the whole issue of downloading, and it's a very relevant question for independent artists. And while I very much appreciate when people buy the music and they support the music, a lot of that is based on the relationships that I've cultivated, because they want to invest in me and I want them to invest in me. And a lot of times if you give something away for free, a person won't value it. There was talk initially, actually my brother had suggested, of giving away my album for free. And I debated with a bunch of people about it. And the ultimate conclusion was that if you give something away for free, people won't value it. Part of what I do for a living that a lot of you might not know is I actually work in a psychiatric hospital. And in one facility that I worked in when I was just starting out, when I was a student, a lot of homeless psychiatric patients don't have clothes. And they had a special sort of project where they were giving clothes. They had like donations of various clothes, whatever, and they were giving them to patients. And they found when the patients got them for free, they would wear them once or twice and they would throw them away. But when patients paid as little as $1 or $5 or just some kind of symbolic fee for the clothes, they valued them a lot more. And then they were less likely to throw it away. So I think the same really applies for music. I think if a person is invested and it's not just this cheap kind of commodity that just goes around, if people are invested, they won't throw it away. They'll actually listen to it more. They'll invest a lot more into it. Having said that, I'll say this, that today, in this day and age, in the age of BitTorrents and all these various sites that you can download stuff and distribute it, if I had the opportunity, if someone came along to me and they said, listen, I'll give you the opportunity to distribute your song or your album to 1 million people, and then I'll know that 1 million people have the potential to hear it, to listen to it, I would be ecstatic. I would do that in a second. It's exposure that's unprecedented. You still do have the factor of whether people will value it or not value it, but when you're dealing with numbers of that magnitude, you're likely to get a lot of fans if you do things right and you follow up. So that's really kind of the state of the industry. And yeah, there are some bands that a bunch of us like to make fun of or whatever, because it's not really our thing and not really our style, and we don't really feel they have much talent or but whatever. Once again, music is really kind of a subjective thing. All right, so moving on. My man from Britain, Brett Stevens, writes as follows. Hey Ben, it's Brett Stevens from Facebook. So my question is, could you ever see yourself becoming a music teacher or a vocal coach in the future, as well as carrying on creating music in general? Many thanks, from Brett. So that's a really interesting question, Brett. And so I guess, you're asking two things. Number one, about vocal teaching. I'm actually only now going through vocal training. I've been going through vocal training for about 9 months with a really, really fantastic teacher who's also a friend of mine. We actually recorded a vocal session last night for a recording that I'm doing on a special project that I'm going to talk about a little bit later, in actually a minute or two. And yeah, what she's trying to teach me now is to teach me to be able to teach others. And I love teaching. It was actually my dream at one point to become like a professor in university and to teach students on that level. But that doesn't seem to be happening right now. But I still do enjoy teaching and working with others. But I don't really feel that I have the knowledge base enough to be and the know-how to be able to teach people that which I'm still learning myself. And that kind of leaves just music in general. And I'm kind of very much an instinctive artist. I talked about in previous blogs that I'm musically illiterate. I don't know how to read, and I don't know how to. I write music, and I write primarily from a an artistic standpoint. I mean, I write from my heart, really. And what I do tends to be very technically simple. I never develop my technique very much down on the piano. And now I'm working very hard on my technique as far as my voice is concerned. I'm spending a lot of time and energy on that, but I don't know. But having said all of that, I was given the opportunity over the past couple of years, over the summers, to work with students who actually came to Israel on these kinds of music programs. And they had what's called a music mentor program, where what I was teaching them wasn't how to play piano and it wasn't how to sing, but it was getting them acquainted with the things that are the music world from my experience out here, from the scene out here, because I've been out in the scene. I've been working intensively in the scene for about 6 to 7 years or something like that. Even though I've been playing and writing music for longer than that, but I've been working at it intensively out here for that long. And yeah, and you learn a thing or two. So from that standpoint, I very much enjoyed that work. I'd like to continue that work. And those are the kinds of things that I can do. I was actually talking to somebody recently that, as a musician, part of what you're learning as a musician is not just about your craft. It's all kinds of things surrounding it. It's how to engage with your audience and talk to your audience. And I'm still learning those things daily. And this video blog thing is actually, relatively new. It's also part and parcel of it. I'm learning as I go along. So if there are people that are interested and that I can work with, and there's some kind of knowledge that I have that could be beneficial to them, that would be fantastic. There's nothing that I enjoy. There's nothing that I enjoy more. So I talked about. So I hope that answers your question, Brett. Thanks a lot for asking, and I invite all of you to send your questions into my email account, which is bendraiman@gmail.com. I really hope you know how to spell my name by now. Yeah, just send your questions into my email. This way I have it more orderly. A lot of times you send it on Facebook and you put it in the comments on the video, and it's just a little bit harder for me. So send them in. We'll hopefully deal with it in the next episode. And stay tuned every week on Thursday for the video blog. I just wanted to make a couple of announcements. Number one, I've added on another date. We've closed another venue in the Los Angeles area. This is actually in the Valley area, in an area. It's called Stovetop Lounge or some Stove Piper. There we go, Stove Piper's Lounge in Northridge, California. Really excited about that. There's a really, really big college scene in Northridge, California. Apropos, if any of you have any contacts to college radio or any kind of college publications that might be interested in my music, that is a scene I very much would like to tap and get tapped into, and yeah, have them being exposed to my music because, yeah, that's incredible market essentially. So I'm really excited about that show. I'm still hoping to do maybe a show in Hollywood, and I have some talks with some venues, but I'm looking for local support acts. Without a local support act, I can't do it. That's really what it comes down to. So if you guys know bands that have somewhat of a decent draw, even as many as 15, 20 people in the LA Hollywood area, West Hollywood that is, please let me know. I'm looking for bands all the time. If there are bands that like me to open for them in the LA area, I would love that as well. That would be fantastic. I'd love to hear your music, and yeah, and see if we can work together. And the rest of the shows, we still got the two Chicago shows, one in the Elbow Room on the 19th, and one in Live Wire Lounge on the 21st. And then I'm off to Canada on the May 26th. I'm doing a show at the Westwood Pub. It's a show sponsored by 94X, which is one of the local stations out there. Really looking forward to that as well. And lastly, I just wanted to talk to you just a really quick about this surprise project that I'm working on, especially for you guys. I really think you'll enjoy it. I'm doing a cover song. It's not an original, and I'm producing it with a friend who is the founding member and producer of this amazing progressive rock slash metal band called Reign of the Architect. I posted one of their videos up on my fan page, up on my profile as well. You guys should check them out. They did a Rammstein cover. The video is phenomenal. I haven't had the opportunity to watch them live yet, but they're really, really phenomenal. They just had a tour where they were opening for Dark Tranquillity. They're going places. They're a really amazing band, and I'm really, really excited to be working with them. We had a fantastic vocal session last night in which I brought in my voice teacher. Very, very exciting stuff, and we're going to be shooting the video soon, so stay tuned. In the meantime, I wish you guys a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Please keep in touch and continue watching every week, Thursday, and every Wednesday. We're going to be releasing new videos, new content, new material. There's always going to be fun stuff going on. Take care. Speak to you soon.